Andrew has a lifetime of practical observing, and he's built an almost unparalleled knowledge, I've been told, of Northern Hemisphere deep sky objects. He's observed using a huge range of instruments over a lot of conditions, but he's perhaps best known for his contribution to star parties, organising and developing the star parties at Kellingheath and Hallwood. He's also organised and led countless outreach sessions with local societies and at star parties. He's an active speaker. He often gives talks to lots of groups, including he's talked many times to the BAA Deep Sky section. He's been chair of Loughton Astronomical Society, and he's a committee member of the Webb Deep Sky Society, and he's been on the committee of other societies. And he gets the Sir Patrick Moore Prize for a lifelong enthusiasm for amateur astronomy and for a desire to communicate that fascination with astronomy to anybody who will listen. So please come and have the... He's actually already had the money.
That is really important thing.
But here is the certificate.
Wow.
And thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. Well done. Would you like to make a speech?
I don't mind. It's interesting, actually. I'm actually embarrassed, and it's not often that I'm embarrassed. I've given lots of talks over the years, and it doesn't faze me. I was in the police. I was a police inspector, and I once had to give a talk to 300 members of the public on community policing, and it was a big school hall, and my boss was sat there. And as I'm fielding questions, and there were some low-baller questions, as you can imagine, my boss had numbers up, and he was marking me every number. And I'm looking at these people trying not to laugh. And the thing is, I'm comfortable ad-libbing. I don't need notes when I'm speaking. And I hadn't thought about making a speech now, but this is the first time I actually feel sort of compromised, and what do I say? So I am sort of humbled by this. It did surprise me when my colleagues put me in for it. And I said, no, and they said, yeah. And as David said, you know, I've had a lifelong passion for astronomy. I've done it for 40 years full on, and I've had lots of telescopes. And I do encourage you, I have been heavily involved in the star parties, and at the smaller Hallwood one, I'll sort of demonstrate the night sky to people. And even now, when you show somebody sat in through a telescope for the first time, they go, wow, and that's a superb feeling, and that's what I like. And people will say to me, haven't you seen it all yet? And I said, no, it's endless. There's so many things to see. And as you go bigger and bigger, and those of you who don't know me, as David said, I've got lots of telescopes. And even though I'm backing off now and sold some, I've still got an 18-inch telescope, two 12-inch telescopes, a 5 and a 7, and it goes on, and I use them. My biggest telescope I sold to my good friend Dale Hull to receive the Stephenson Award, didn't he, in December. Because I was winding down from it, and he's always been after my telescope, because I used to say to Kellingheath, 24-inch telescope, had to go in a double axle trailer, so I go to Kellingheath with my caravan, and then I go home, pick the trailer up, bring the 24-inch back and set it up, and it was a star attraction. And that was a development process, because when I built it, I did it all manual, because I used to pride myself on knowing where in the night sky and use the red dot finder and get straight on it. But as I've got older, I struggled to sort of get my neck at the eyepiece, so I put encoders on it. And then, I think Nick was with me once. One night, I had the 24-inch then, of course, always the biggest telescope at the event, so there's always a queue of people who wants to look through it. And the thing with the big Dodsonian, you're going up a ladder. When it's at the highest, my feet are 4 foot off the ground. And so, if you're not used to using Dodsonian, it's okay with the telescope down here, moving it that way and that, but when you get to the top, you've got to rotate it. And if there's a tendency for the ladder to move rather than the telescope, and people struggle. So I was at the start party one day, and I must have gone up and down that ladder 100 times in the space of 2 hours, because people will go up and they lose it. So I'd come back, they come down, I'd go up and find it for them, and come down and they go up, and I thought, oh, that's no good. So I put drive system on it. So I had a 24-inch Dobsonian with encoders and a drive system, and it was slew at 4 degrees a second. Quite an impressive beat. And find objects at 700 times. So it was good. But I've observed so much now, and I do find the skies are deteriorating. And I was saying to Nick earlier, the last time I was up this ladder 4 feet off the ground, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was on my own. It was below zero, and the ladder was covered in ice, and I'm holding on with 2 hands, trying to change eyepieces, and I thought, nah, I've got to wind down. So the 24's gone to Dale, but I've still got an 18 and 2
Why do
12s.
imaging out like it?
Yeah, well, I know. I did actually consider putting a camera in it, and I could have done, but for me, I just like the visual view, and I just think I can download a Hubble image if I want to see it, you know. So instead of going that, so I like the visual view. And I'll tell you what the epitaph for me is I'm a great believer. If I want to observe a galaxy group, I'll have an idea what I want to observe, but then I won't then look at a picture I manage, and I'll sort of make a note of it where the various companions are, and then I'll check it the next day. And when we had the lockdown, the first one in March, the skies were awesome. There was no vapor trails and no vapor, and the skies were the best I've ever had from the UK. And I'm using my 24, and for me, bearing in mind I'm 68 and my eyes are not as good, I got a visual of the jet in M87, which I thought I'll never see again. That was awesome. And the other thing I've seen is a quasar at Mag 16 at 10.75 billion light years, just 2 dots. But to actually see that, up the ladder and thinking the light starts its journey 6 billion years before the Earth existed is quite an awesome sight. So I've had some awesome views, but they're deteriorating for me now. So the big scope's gone, but I've still got the 18 and I've still got my observatory. And so yeah, brilliant.
Right. Well,
Thank you so much.
You asked for a speech, and you
sorry.
Right, well done again. Right. So we've got an amazing programme lined up by our ever industrious meetings secretary, Hazel Collett, consisting of experts from both the amateur and professional astronomy worlds. I'll just mention the BAA meetings coming up, that we have a couple of interesting webinars coming up. On the 1st of July, which is my birthday incidentally, in case you want to send me anything, I've got, there's a webinar about cosmic neutrinos, and on the 20th of July, we have one about backyard lunar mineral prospecting by Dr. Mark Kidger. So those are on the web. Then the next physical meeting of the BAA will be on the weekend starting the 9th of September in Elgin in Scotland, and that will be themed around a sun and its solar system, and so that will be another big event. And then the next London meeting will be the annual general meeting on the 26th of October. This meeting in Nottingham has been somewhat delayed by the pandemic, so we're delighted to be here at last, and thanks for the cooperation of Nottingham Astronomical Society in making it possible. I've never been to Nottingham before, and I've got to spend quite a lot of time here now because of the train strike.